Our next guest helped discover the talents of actors like Melissa McCarthy, Jamie Foxx, Katie Holmes, and so much more. Tess Sanchez worked as a casting director in Hollywood, where she served as a top executive at her network. She spent decades in the industry until she says she was abruptly laid off and told, something we all have heard,
Yes.
We've decided to go in a different direction.
Yeah.
That happens to be the title of her new book of essays. Sanchez writes about her adventures as a working mom while also trying to rediscover her true self. Tess Sanchez joins us first on CBS Mornings. Good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so at what point in your life, in your career, did you decide, you know what, I need to start writing down what's going on and create these essays that have some humor and truth to them?
I think the jumping off point was being fired on a Zoom and being blindsided. I was like, I need to start to process this. And in doing that, it made me go back to the beginning of my career and sort of see, how did I get here? And what led me to this point of feeling so invested in the identity of being a casting executive.
Well, I want to pick it up at that moment because I call it a rot row moment. Because it's never good when they say, because he's giving you all sorts of praise and then says, this is bittersweet.
And you think it's going to be normal.
You think it's going to be a great
just
meeting.
A check-in.
I actually thought I was going to get my bonus.
Yeah, I know, but he goes, this is a bittersweet moment. Never good when
Right.
you're
Right,
this is
right.
bittersweet. But Tess,
The light goes on.
You didn't handle it well, and you write about this. You write about it very candidly. What did you do? Because you became very angry.
I became hysterical and angry and somebody that I did not recognize myself. I sort of had an out-of-body experience where I was looking down at myself being like, hold it together. What is going on? You're losing it. And it was uncharacteristic of me.
But then you realized how much you defined yourself by your job.
Exactly.
Tell us about that process. You
Well-
didn't want to be somebody's wife, as great as Max is, or somebody's mother.
Yeah.
And you realized this job meant a lot to you.
Well, it filled my cup. I felt purpose. And in my job, I was giving people a lot of times their first job.
Right.
And it felt so good to mentor people and then also working with, new actors that were getting their first opportunity. And I was watching their lives change
Yes.
right in front of me.
We should say you were good at your job and doing a good job when this firing came. That's another reason why it hit you so out of the blue.
That's right.
So in your years as a casting director, you discovered a lot of big stars, gave them their first job, as you mentioned. What is it that you look for in that tryout, as it were, the spark?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
That is a good question. It's something that you can't really put your finger on. It's just an air of charisma that feels unique to that person, and they're not trying to be anybody else. They're just being themselves, and who they are is engaging, and it just feels really rare.
It's like Nate Burleson when he walked onto the set of this show. The spark was there.
We saw the it. But I also like when you said, everybody says, oh, Tess, you'll be fine, and you're like, when? When is that part going to kick in?
That's right. I really had to, I was ready to fast forward through this transition, and there was no way around it. I had to go right down the middle and trudge through it. And eventually what I came to was turning it into, ultimately was what I like to call a painful favor.
Yeah.
Let's talk
Painful favor.
Yeah,
I
because
like that.
you say it's important to realize that you don't have all the answers right now.
That's
and most
correct.
people, they sit and they stew in that, and that causes them to fall even deeper into this dark place.
You may not have the answers, but you've got Max, and you dedicate the book to him.
Yes.
You say, meeting you is the single best thing that has happened to me in my life. You say that first meeting was a jolt down to your toes. My goodness, for the men out there.
Sheesh.
What did Max do?
No, when the Jay-Z song Big Pimpin' was playing in the background, just picture that.
Okay, Maximus.
How did Max get that done?
Max, we love him from the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Yes, he's the best.
No, but this is what Max says about you, Tess. She's disarming and affable, so much so that people find themselves sharing their most intimate secrets. Tess is the person you want in your team in the last leg of a relay race because she will somehow always figure out how to bring home the win. That's what he said about you. Tess Sanchez.
Tess, we
Thank you
appreciate
very
you.
much.
Thank you so much for joining us. We've
Congrats on the
decided
book.
to go in a different direction. Is on
I
sale
love that title.
tomorrow.
Words you never want to hear. We've decided to go in
no.
a different direction.